Conrad, and how are you, buddy? Today is our daily bipolar mood journal for, sorry, I got a big bump there. 11 November 16th, 2025, and I have bipolar 1 disorder with psychotic features. Maybe a little bit of PTSD, they said. Okay. I don't really know much about PTSD other than the trauma that they might be referring to, if that makes any sense. I kind of remember that. So, most of my stuff is to try to help me stay grounded. Most of my practice, most of my videos, all of that is to help me with my bipolar disorder, which has included delusions and psychosis and hallucinations and all that. So I'm doing what I can, and one of the biggest things I've been doing is keeping this vlog, which I don't like, but it's what it is. It's daily vlog about how I'm feeling. My intentions with it are basically, if there's anybody else who has trouble with some kind of mental illness like bipolar disorder, it's recommended for us that we keep a journal and that we keep a daily journal to just get the stuff out of us, and also I think it's, so you can look back and see if there's any patterns or trends or triggers or anything like that, and to hopefully keep you from going too low or too high. So I'm in, I guess it was in July, July into August is when I started having my last manic episode, and it ended in going to the hospital for a few days, a psychiatric hospital, to stabilize. And I did. Sorry, I'm on my way on I-35 south to do some work today, this Sunday, and so if I get a little sidetracked, it's because I'm trying to pay attention to what I'm actually doing and just driving. But staying in the psychiatric hospital this last time was a different experience for me, and I was still pretty up, really manic during the stay. Even the stay itself is could be traumatic. It was for me. I mean, if you've never been to one, you gotta give up all your clothes, all your belongings, and then put on the hospital garb, and you're given a room with a roommate, sometimes not a roommate, and a bed. And then it's really just a place that they'll try to get your medications right, try to get you stable, and try to let you rest. And I was still manic during my stay, and because of that, they were doing all they can to treat me without necessarily knowing my history, because I was in a different state. I had driven to Oklahoma, and that's where the police actually were called, because I was driving so erratically, and the police is the one who took me to the hospital, thank God. He was a nice guy, because he could have took me to jail. But he knew something was wrong with me, so he took me to the hospital, and I was there for 5 days, I think, maybe 6 days, and it wasn't until day 3 or 4 where I actually felt like I could get some rest. I was just walking and pacing around the hall, the corridor within the hospital. I was bothering probably every patient there. Hi, Adeline. And I was just manic at the hospital. I still thought it was part of whatever mission that I was on. And so, anyways, one of the things I'm trying to do with this mood journal is to keep myself out of the hospital again. Although I know it was where I needed to be at that time, I don't want to go back. And since then, we've changed medications and adjusted medications to where I feel already, even though I'm kind of on the low end of, I'm more in the depressive side of normal. I'd say my mood is like a 3, 4, whatever, but it's much better than, I would rather stay kind of where I'm at now than when I was manic and had to be hospitalized. So if doing this journal can help me check in with myself and help me stay out of the hospital, that's what I'm going to do. So anyways, one of the worst things about the hospital is the food. I don't know if you guys have been. Where am I going? I'm going to go to work, or try to work today. But I thought they were messing with me on the food thing. I thought that they were giving me, when I was in the hospital, I thought they were giving me food that was not what I ordered. They gave you a piece of paper every morning and asked you to fill out, circle what you wanted. And I was so out of my mind, I was circling like the opposite of what I wanted, thinking that they were going to give me the opposite of what I asked for. And so ultimately, I would get this tray of lunch of nothing that I wanted, and I was like, see, they're giving me everything opposite. When really they were probably just couldn't read my chicken scratch writing that I was putting on the thing. You stay safe too, brother. So being in the hospital is no fun, and so that's why we do mood journals. That's why we check in, and we try to stay safe and out of the hospital. So I give my mood today a 3-4. It was my wife's birthday celebration last night, and we went to her parents' house and had dinner. And by the time we were done with dinner and got home at like 8 p.m., I've got released from the hospital. And once I take my medication, I just didn't. I walked downstairs and laid down on the couch and immediately fell asleep. So it's in my clothes and in everything else, and clothes, shoes, lay down, sleep. Prior to my diagnosis, I would have to be, in my underwear. That's what I slept in, just my underwear. But when you feel kind of depressed or down, you just sometimes sleep in all your clothes, and that's what I did last night. It's not fun, and it doesn't make, it's like, just take your clothes, just change, and it's like, you don't have the energy. People don't understand that you literally don't have the energy for anything but laying down and going to sleep. And I know that that's a mixture of the medicines I'm on and of the disorder itself and coming down from such a manic place, but it doesn't help with your confidence. It doesn't help with your feeling like you're on the way up. So I got a goal for today, and that's to, when I get home from work, to take a shower and get changed into just comfortable clothes, and hopefully I can get a good night's rest. So I'm not super sure how much I'll get done today. One of the problems I have and have been having since this last episode is having the capability to even work more than a few hours before I get exhausted. I'm still, everything's just kind of still overwhelming to me, and it's tough to put together a plan of any kind, you know what I mean, like multi-step plan or something. So struggling with that a bit, so I try to keep my projects that I'm trying to accomplish small, but even small ones can be just intimidating to get started. So I'm doing my best to grit my teeth and push through it, but it's kind of tough. The worst of this last one is that, well, there's just all kinds of it. I'm applying for, there's just so many processes that I have to go through now that I had no idea what I'm supposed to do, you know. And it's the waiting game, so, but going bankrupt, spending all your money on stuff that you don't need, going bankrupt is where I'm headed, and I got to figure out that process. And kind of simultaneously, we're working on a disability case for myself. Just because of how extreme the symptoms are, and it's kind of weird because you go from being super productive, or maybe not super productive, super ambitious, burning, working all the time, 20 hours a day, as if it takes that, all night if it takes it, multiple days on end if it takes it, doesn't matter. And then you get out of that frame of mind, that gets, it's like a different person. So anyways, my mood's good though. I'm going to do something. I feel like I'm going to get something done today. I'm going to try to get something done today, and I'm grateful for my wife and kids and the day. So if you guys have are in the same situation I'm in when it comes to, you spent all your money while manic, and because of your episode, you have all these new obstacles that you have to try to navigate, the disability world, the bankruptcy world, sometimes a lot of that just adds to it. So you wake up feeling like, oh no, what do I need to do today to move forward? And those things are kind of holding you back, and they're all things that you did and feel guilty about. So try to bring your mood down, and we're not going to let it today. So it's Sunday, the sun is shining, I'm alive somehow. So I'm grateful for that. Happy birthday to my wife, and happy birthday to, I'm going to bring her home something small probably, but she deserves more than I got, so I'm trying to do better. With that being said, have an okay day, and be good to yourself.